on you. That's your energy. That's your energy. Why would you not want to gentrify something? I get what he's saying. Why'd you mix it with him? I thought they were the regular
Which one is more important, talent or hard work?
Which one would lead to the most success?
Hard work.
Oh, okay, wait. First of all, so I don't want you guys to have to raise your hands and stuff to talk. So, in the beginning, you guys are gonna like have a discussion.
Even if you do have a talent, you still have to work hard to get where you want to go. Like all these people, there's millions of people that know how to sing, but hard work is what distinguishes you. I don't know if that's a word, but makes it distinguish.
I personally feel like hard work and talent a little bit of. I think it's depending on the field. Like the guy Jeff Bezos from Amazon, he's kind of like a role model for me. I don't know. But like the reason why he's so rich is because he had the idea for Amazon, but when nobody else was investing, he invested his own money in it. So he controls so much of the stock of Amazon that he's getting most of the money. For some people to have companies that, you know, make so much, but they control so little of the share. So I feel like his hard work that he put into his own company and investing in his own company is the reason why he's top 5 richest people in the world. So
If you really want to distinguish yourself as a person, you need both. Anybody can work hard in school. Like the norm in our society in America is you work hard, you get what you want. But the people who are really up there and known is because of their talent. Because anybody can have work ethic. Nobody really has like that it factor. Not everybody has that it factor. So I feel like it's really unfair to put them against each other, because if you really want to be up there, you want to be known, you want to be distinguished as a person who's creative and has the ability and the work ethic to get up there, you really do need talent. Because like anybody can get an A, but like who can really have that hustle, that side hustle to distinguish them from that norm A student?
What about a person who's like talented, but like talented at cheating their way through everything? But like, no, I know y'all don't feel like that. So like they're talented at cheating at everything. So like when they cheat, they basically get like the same grades that a person working every day striving would get.
I mean, if you're just like 24/7 cheating, you're not even like studying. But like really, if you're cheating, you're gonna get your straight A's. You know, you're gonna be able to do some clubs. You're gonna have a social life instead of someone that's just hard, and then can't do anything again.
I feel like you should the only time cheating that's usable is when it's to save time. Like if you're cheating, don't cheat because you don't understand it. Cheat so that you can save time, because you will really hurt yourself in the long run by copying something or cheating and not understanding. It's always gonna come back up.
I put in my hard work and someone just cheated their way through and got a better grade than me, I'd be a little ball of salt on the side. But I mean, at the end of the day, the benefits of you doing your work pays off in the long run, because you're gonna understand what you're doing.
Against each other, because in order to be hard work, you need motivation. And if you have talent, you don't have any motivation, you won't get anywhere. So to be successful, you need motivation to push yourself to be somewhere. So I feel like even if you're talented, you have to do hard work at the same time, because you need that motivation to get where you want to go.
The topic is the old head generation versus our generation. Which one was like the worst? Them?
They have Freaknik.
Wait.
I feel like the old heads are worse because, like, I think we are just changing society for the better as we like grow up. So obviously the old heads will be worse. Like for example, with the homosexual, like we're embracing, like they were like really like rude and like they were like closed-minded about it, and we're being more like there's parades and there's like, you know, we're more free-spirited about it. That's what I was trying to say.
Good and bad at the same time, because it's like, yeah, like their morals were good back then, and like I did have like the bad side to it, and as we're trying to fix it, this generation is taking it overboard, and like they're doing like too much. It's not, they don't have morals.
Our generation is better, you know, with stuff like that. Cause like literally yesterday, what were y'all doing Halloween? Y'all wasn't doing nothing crazy. Like, there was like egging houses. It was,
I remember my mom would be like, oh, her mom, my grandma would drop her off at like her neighbor's house, like they could trust each other. But now, like, if we go over to our neighbor's house, I feel like they're gonna kill you or something like that. We're not like that, like popular, not like popular, but you know, like it didn't happen that often. Or like even just like before Columbine, like that was not a thing. But like now, like there was a school shooting like last week or this week, like a student got shot and died, and they just continued class. They continued class.
Yes, add on to what Naomi said. I definitely feel like with the whole school shooting thing, it's because it's being normalized through media. Like the way, son, the school shootings used to be like they used to be on the news. They gave these kids that were normally like loner kids or with that the school shooter stereotype. It gave these kids like attention that they wanted. So these kids saw that they're getting attention, so it just kept happening over and over.
Some parts of it that is good. Like we're more open-minded, but then at the same time, this generation is fast. Yeah. Like if you talk to someone in middle school or elementary school now, they've done more than I could even think of doing as a senior in high school. So when it comes to like, you know what I'm talking about. Some of them are fast, and a lot of people are getting like pregnant or stuff they're not supposed to be doing at the age of 13 and 12.
I think like this generation is like more sensitive.
Absolutely.
So I was just gonna say that like I feel like not necessarily like rude wise or moral wise or whatever, but the last generation they were more like brutal, like in like an overall sense. So everything they handled, like it was more of a brutal way. This generation, it's more sympathetic. Like we're sensitive to things, but at the same time we're desensitized because of who raised us.
Yeah, like I think we are more sensitive, but I don't necessarily consider sensitive a bad thing. I just think that like now, cause like we know that like some things are wrong that like our parents were saying it was okay.
I feel like our generation, even with this argument, because it's not this argument that it cycled itself, we kind of hype up how good life was in the 80s and the 90s. It really was. It was cool. Like y'all Twitter birds like to say it's a vibe. Y'all have turned it into a profession to hype up the 90s and the 80s. Like there was definitely bad parts about it, and then like for example the music. Not every song in the 90s was good. Yeah. But if I compare any song to right now to the 90s and say it's better, y'all will attack me like I'm food or something.
Music standpoint, if it has Tupac, Biggie, Aaliyah, y'all say it's a great song.
Exactly, bro. Y'all some birds.
Like, what you say?
There's no bad songs.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, y'all don't even have to listen to the song. Just because the name one of them. Oh my god.
Post that on their snap on their Instagram.
Y'all do the same thing with these B&B rappers.
Listen to like let's say PG rap, don't necessarily think the way that how Wyoming people. They don't exactly. Music really shapes the way we act.
I think music maybe one of the things that's like ruining like our morals for this generation, because like she said, it's like praising drugs, action, stuff like that, and maybe people think that's cool now, and it's like
People think being dumb is cool.
Just trying to clown Manny for being a straight A student, but meanwhile, like say he falls off, he has something to fall back on. Your favorite rapper fall off, he in the streets.
Period.
He's at Wendy's, he's at McDonald's. Like don't clown somebody for trying to have all put together.
But what are the chances? Okay, yeah, he's great. But what are the chances that he's gonna get to where he is? I personally believe that he will. But what are the chances? He needs a backup plan. And for y'all to say that, for people to say, oh, he's a 4-year-old GPA, he's not about it. What? That's so
people that you find trapping, they need to. They're living inside homes, they're trying to get out, and it's just like, so then when they talk about trapping and stuff that other people are doing, and you have a 4.0 and you have a future ahead of you, they're kind of like, why are you doing that when you don't have to?
That's one of the main differences between the past generation and this generation. A lot of the rappers, they were saying the exact same things, but a lot of them had actually gone through the things like to get up there. A lot of this generation is mainly just like ignorant, like ignorant people who like just they're trying to imitate the past generation, and they're not even doing that well because half of them are from like
But yeah, a lot of rappers now are not doing what they're rapping about, but some are. Like, but the problem is once you start rapping about, you need to stop what you're doing. And people don't understand that you can't keep doing what you're rapping about as a rapper, because now that you have clout, you have people watching you. You're hot now. You can't keep trapping when you're rapping about it, bro. You can't keep trapping when 1,000,001 people are viewing what you're saying.
So then, what do you want your man to do? Like, you want him to go to trap before he can.
No, we're not even talking about
I'm just saying in general, like, what do you want that individual to do? You want him to have to go through that before he wants to write a song? What if he wants to write a song about that?
To help people who went through that.
The point is, it's not about the background. When you listen to a song, it's about how you connect with that lyric. It doesn't matter about that person's background because you're writing before you.
Oh, you know, I study all night. Everybody wants to hear, you know.
Very true.
I think that's a problem with our culture. Like, once it gets accepted for people to rap about, like, you know, good grades, like I'm not gonna get mad at him. I'm not gonna get mad at him for rapping about something that are gonna get people to that's gonna get him money. Like, he's trying to get money for rapping for people that want to hear it. This is what he has to say.
It's kind of sad that for us to make it out, or any artist can make it out, you have to follow the trend to get that buzz, when really, like, authenticity should be really that's what rap is founded on.
Like, nobody's like trying to like trash on Manny or nothing, but it's just he's a good example and everything. And it's not like we're trying to overcomplicate. We're not trying to overcomplicate the situation, but oversimplifying it also has a negative effect. Like, you can't just say, oh, since I'm not from here and everybody's on that, let me do that. Because by doing that, like, you're being pretentious. Like, you're acting like you're about something. You're bringing a lot of negative attention towards yourself. So a lot of people who address stuff like that, they're generally like looking out for people like that. They're just trying to like make sure they don't actually get hurt.
About, like, you know, two great female artists beefing the same as male do. I feel like Lil Baby and Gunna would have been beefing if it was they were girls. Like, they make the same type of music. They would have been the last and stuff like that.
Two female artists like beefing all the time is because, like, a lot of times we don't have like space for, like, or at least society doesn't make space for more than like one male. Like, we have like all these like male rappers that make the same exact music. I cannot tell the difference between their voices. But then, like, we can't have like Nicki and Cardi. Like, we can only have one.
Rappers for old heads, and basically with them, it's like, oh, if I'm older than you and I've been in the game longer than you, you owe me something when you come in the game. Like, you should respect me and feel some type of way. And it shouldn't be like that. It should just be supporting other female rappers because, hey, this isn't a big field. You know, a lot of the old head female rappers are like, oh my god, you should like not bow down to me, but you know, like
bow down to
respect me, like, give it to them because they paved the way for me.
But make them feel like they have to be number one. Like, for the Cardi Nicki thing, it was the whole thing started because of their fans. Their fans are crazy.
But when you get in the way of my money and stuff like that, like, apparently Nicki Minaj is going back and she's like, if you work with this person so and so, then I'm not gonna be friends with you anymore. At that point, you're cutting that person's money. You're ruining their bag, and at that point, that's when it's messed up. And so you can say that Nicki Minaj paves the way for Cardi B, but when you do stuff like that, and Cardi B has been saying that she's done like stuff like that, people are like, oh, she should be thanking Nicki Minaj. Cardi B should be thanking her, and she has said that she likes Nicki Minaj. But when you get in the way of somebody how they're making their money, that's when it becomes an issue.
Period.
I also think if you take a male rapper, like, I know y'all like Rico Nasty, but if you take a male rapper, we can say lyrics that might be explicit to females, and we're not gonna be looked at as crazy. But if I say like a lyric, I'm doing something explicit with a male, you guys are not gonna go and shout like, oh yeah, I was just doing that. You know, I also think that kind of plays a role in it.
So, is Kanye relevant?
No, that was not my question.
No. Is Kanye relevant?
If you say, I don't like him, I hate you, but you post him all over your timeline, it's attention, he's still getting it. If you say, I love you, and post him, it's still attention. It doesn't matter whether you like him or hate him. As long as you're giving him attention and putting him all over your timeline, he's still going to be relevant regardless of whether you want him to be or not.
I think said something very like, you know, like, don't talk to me like, you know, like the bad, like Trump stuff. But should we not like listen to his music because of that? That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay, just who Kanye is, bro. I just can't stop listening to Kanye. Like, who he was.
Do you know him?
I just wanted to say, like, not even just political views, but I feel like if you can separate an artist and their actual music all the time, like, that's how you support people, like, based off of what they make and who they are as a person. If you're supporting someone who's going around doing wild stuff, like, I'm just gonna bring this as an example, I don't want to like get loud, but like XXXTentacion or whatever, like, you know how all that, the women abuse and everything, and a lot of people, like, they had a problem with that, so you don't want to be putting money in his pockets by like promoting him and doing all that stuff. So it's the same way with Kanye. Like, if he's supporting someone who you believe is doing negative stuff.
Okay, wait. It's hard for me, like, when people say, like, oh, like, let me separate the art from the artist, because a lot of times, like people, like, in our lives, like, that we personally know, we don't even separate, like, we don't even separate ourselves from them, or, like, cancel them or whatever. So if you want to cancel them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense.
And also to for DeAndre's point, I feel like it's easier to quote unquote cancel an artist that you didn't really like that much anyway.
I don't think you can compare XXXTentacion with Kanye, because Kanye that's just his political views. It's not like he went and hit XXXTentacion went and hit somebody like that. Yeah, like that caused him to go to jail. Like, that's hurting somebody else. Trump saying that Kanye saying he supports Trump. Yeah, like, that hurts your feelings or whatever. But it's like that's how he views life. You can't hurt him.
And then also we have to attribute Kanye's mental illness, because this was, come on, listen to the music.
They like you, Trump is nothing.
Okay, no, I'm not saying that.
I feel like people do like the same thing with Chris Brown, the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. Like, people, let's say if you used to like Chris Brown, you used to love him, and then after the Rihanna situation, you change your views and you don't listen to him.
I thought he was really sorry about what he did, because he did multiple interviews. Like, I think it depends on the person, on the artist, on what they did. Because, like, for example, how Mark said, for Chris Brown actually came out, you know, several times, like, he was, like, really sorry. And he knew what he was doing during the time, but, like, now he regrets it and stuff. And yeah, it's just, like, it depends on the person and what they've done, so.
Like, I really like your music. I remember, like, listening to that in the car with my parents and stuff. Like, I really like your music, but with all that Rihanna stuff, like, okay, I never forgave him for that anyway. And, like, yeah, he says he's sorry, but he keeps doing this stuff. Like, he keeps doing this stuff. And so, I don't think he's really sorry.
I feel like, if nothing happens to you, you shouldn't be mad. Like,
What?
It don't matter what he did.
It matters.
There is, like, situations where, like, people make mistakes, or even if you don't want to call it a mistake, but, like, they do bad things or whatever, and once they come to terms with that as a person, you personally shouldn't have a problem, like how she's saying it doesn't affect you, like, if you didn't get, like, personally hurt by it, but if they publicly, not even just publicly, if they are able to, like, come to terms with the situation and apologize and express remorse all the time and man up and try and, like, become a better person, you shouldn't hold that over their head.
I was saying, like, everybody wants to cancel somebody, but, like, when TK first came out, everybody's singing the race or but, like, he shoot an old man or something like that?
He said it in his song. He said he was.
He said he was sorry.
The dude's lyrics are wild inside the song, and then he actually goes to do it, and y'all like, oh, bro.
When it's such a public platform, and say it's like a topic like about abuse or something like that, if you like if you don't take a stance, then it kind of shows that, like, you're enabling it and that you think it's okay.
The first conversation we had when we were talking about Young Manny, like, y'all, when he raps about what he's not about, y'all still get mad. So it's like, you can't what do y'all want?
I feel like I'm not really, like, I don't take a stance on the Chris Brown situation, because personally, I know it's not my grudge to hold, especially if he's went out and apologized and he said what he did is wrong repeatedly. People take it to an extent where they still, up until this day, wish death on Chris Brown. It's just like, what are you doing that for? Are you doing it for attention? What are you gaining it from? Because if Rihanna has forgiven the person who did it, if Rihanna has forgiven, the victim has forgave that person, whether you want to still hold that grudge on them or not, the grudge that you have no right holding, no matter how you feel about it, that's on you. That's your anger. That's your energy.
Going back to what Aiden said, if you don't support an artist and what they've done, then why are you listening to their music?
Exactly.
They get their money from you viewing them, whether you like what they did or not. If you could go on YouTube and click their video, you're giving them money.
I definitely feel like there's also a double standard. I have a few things. Like, we have Solange who goes like ham in an elevator, but had that been a man, it really would have been different. Like, if we do want to take a look at the person's actions and then assess it, if two people in the party are both putting their hands on each other, both people deserve the same amount of backlash. I also think once a person has grown and once you said it, if you keep sitting there and dehumanizing them, saying that's a monster, he's not gonna care how you look at him, so he's gonna do whatever, because at the end of the day, you're still gonna look at him however you want to see him.
You literally cannot separate the actions of an artist from the artist. Like, it's literally impossible. Like, and I don't think people realize that, because you can shout, he's canceled, they're canceled. At the end of the day, the old heads are still gonna crank R. Kelly, and we're still gonna, some of us are still gonna crank Kanye, because he is what he is. He's a legend. Like, you can't deny his music off of him just thinking for himself. Like, it doesn't. Y'all are trying to cancel that man for thinking for himself. We think for ourselves every day. Just because somebody says something you don't like, you cannot cancel them. You know, that's their opinion. They can think how they want.
Everybody has so many sides to them. Nobody in this room, I can say a million things about myself. Nobody's going to agree with all of them that I say. So I don't believe that you can just because we idolize people, and I think that's something we need to stop doing because we don't know them.
I think people see Trump as this image that Twitter's been portraying him as. Like, have people actually followed the Trump story? Like, all of these people, Obama. Do you guys know Obama started a slave thing in Africa? Not a lot of people know that.
Why would you not want to gentrify something? That means
that was the most
stuff like being a black people in the neighborhoods is different, but if you trying to, why would you not want to build up your city and get people like, why would you not want to make people
Gentrification, they purposely increase the prices to push out the people that are in there. And usually it's normally minorities. And on top of that, when they build in new neighborhoods, they start building new stores. New stores, more expensive prices, so now they can't pay their rent, they can't buy food for them or their children, so then they have to go to an even worse neighborhood to find food.
So with gentrification, it's not a matter of building up the community that's already there. It's a matter of pushing them out and bringing in the affluence. And making it harder for black people to live in the community that they're already in by increasing the prices on everything that's around them. So yeah, it's cute, but they can't afford it.
Gentrification is violent, bro. Like, not sometimes we only look at it from like rent and stuff, but no, gentrification, people are having houses that are paid off and get it taken. Like in DC right now, DC is just like a big example of gentrification happening. And in DC, there's homes that people have been living there since the 70s, bruh. Like old people have been living there since the 70s. And they paid off their houses are paid for. But their property taxes have increased to the point that they can't pay it and they have to lose their houses. And what's happening is that these houses are going onto auction websites and auction places that are getting sold at very, very, very low, meager cost. That if you sold it to these black people, they could have afforded to pay for it. But because they have an agenda, that we have to look at motive. There's a big difference to bring everything back in. There's a big difference between community development and gentrification, and the motive behind that is the reason behind that is motive. Community development is to make the community better, but gentrification is to make more money, bring more money to community. And like DeAndre said, you cannot develop a community that is not ready to be developed more and bring more money in.
When you look at a hood in any city, and there's a bad neighborhood in every single city in America. The worst neighborhood is in the worst part. It's next to the city dump. It's on the corner. It's nowhere, no shops are, just liquors and drugstores. So no matter what, like even if it's more sporadic and there's housing, because inside, I know a few states they have to have at least 8% affordable housing in every single little town and everything. And it's caused different problems that people say, oh yeah, the riffraff's coming in, da da da. But it did help them because sporadically there's more jobs inside these other communities. So I think that's what we need to do.